Welcome back to the Malted Man Cave, and tonight we are celebrating the Game 4 win of the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals, even though we are just delaying our pain. Because I don't think there's any way in
It feels so good.
I don't think there's any way in hay that we're going to come back and win the series. But hey, crazier things have happened. And last year we came back from 3-1, so I'm not holding my breath though. So anyways, we decided to have a celebratory review, and tonight we are going to be doing Bruichladdich, the Islay Barley. And this is specifically, their kind of big thing now is they are kind of importing their specific barley from like different farms that are from Islay, which is rare because the terrain and the wind and kind of the weather, it's kind of really harsh and it's kind of hard to grow it on Islay. But anyways, they did, and I think the barley is pretty good because this is pretty delicious stuff. So a little bit about this. This is 50% ABV, which we like. Non-chill filtered, and yeah, there is no color added. So a little bit about Bruichladdich. Bruichladdich, I'm not sure exactly. It's been in like the last 15, 20 years, so it's a newer distillery. Jim McCune, is that a big giant spider? You gotta go get that.
Once again, it's good to be in your basement.
You need to go get that.
I'll get it.
It was like a freaking wolf spider. Holy cow. Maybe we're gonna talk about phobias tonight for the question of the evening. I'm not. The thing was freaking huge.
It's gone now.
Anyways,
it's gone to Valhalla.
Enough about spiders. So Jim McCune, who used to be the distillery manager for, or the malt master for Bowmore, kind of went into a business venture with some partners and bought Bruichladdich, which was open before, then closed. And they are kind of really focusing on this artisan, kind of craftsman, do it the right way type whiskey. And it's pretty amazing. Unfortunately, because they have only been open for a while, they're kind of having a hard time keeping their age statements. But their age statements are amazing. And unfortunately, this is not an age statement, but it's still pretty good. And eventually we'll get there with Bruichladdich. We got to support them now, while they're young, so they can kind of get their stocks, grow their stocks, and we will be rewarded in the long run. So, enough blabbering.
Question.
Anything that you want to say about this?
Oh no, it was a fantastic celebratory drink while we were watching our sporting events. So I felt like it worked very well with the win.
Touche. So, what are we gonna do for the question of the night?
Well, the question of the night, I have a 4-year-old who has recently decided what he would like to be when he grows up, and it so happened to be what I wanted to be when I was a child.
Really?
And how things have strayed from those original paths.
So the question tonight will be what we wanted to do when we were kids for our career path.
Yeah.
Okay. Touche. You want to start first?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So I have no idea how trash is remedied in Europe, but here in the States, you get to ride on the back of a trash truck and you get to throw trash into this big thing that compacts it and swallows it whole. This truck. And when I was a kid,
Your dream job was being
oh
a
my
garbage
gosh,
man?
garbage man.
What?
Legit.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, and no joke.
They get
my
paid pretty
son-
good, but worst dream job ever.
My son,
Garbage.
My son just dreams about riding on the back of that truck and just throwing trash in and seeing that thing swallow it whole. So as a child,
aim for the stars.
aim for the. Wait, what is it? Aim for the moon and you rest among the stars?
And then you pick
Yeah.
up trash.
Anyways, yeah, so that was my dream job as a child, was a trash collector. And
Sure.
what ruined that dream was the understanding that a trash collector in the United States does not make a livable wage. I
thought they actually get paid pretty good. Because no one really wants to do it. That's what I always was told.
No, yes, they did, but this is getting into. So yes, they did if they were a union contract worker, if they were a city sanitation worker, but now that is privatized, which is most of all of, at least Ohio is all privatized.
For sure.
They are not making quite the living as they did as a city sanitation worker.
Gotcha. We all play our role.
We'll get into that later.
So, what are we gonna get into?
I don't know.
So I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was young, and it all started. I don't know how.
I think I knew that.
5 or 6 or 4 or 5 or 6. I watched the iconic movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
So
Was that Michael? No. What's
No,
his
Kirk.
Kirk Douglas, his father. And there was this part where the Nautilus is underwater and a giant squid attacks. And I've just always been have this dread fascination with giant squids.
Oh man!
And just shark, just any kind of
The
underwater,
beak.
Submarines and giant squids. I've always just thought it was the coolest thing. So I just wanted to explore the ocean. And
Can I take my trash collector one back?
aim for the stars, man.
I want to be an astronaut.
I'm gonna be the big brother for you, so I'm gonna take him out. Listen. Anyways, so enough blabbering. Let's get into the whiskey. What do you get on the nose?
Oh, the nose. The first thing I wrote down was citrus. Very citrusy, orangey. There's a thickness to it, and the high. Does this have a high ABV?
It's 50% ABV.
Okay.
You probably should have put a splash on it.
But I didn't mind it without it. I thought it was.
I'm so proud of you.
No, I thought it was better, or I don't know.
Grown into a man.
Yeah. I'm getting my chest here, Daddy. No, but I thought it was, despite the high ABV, I thought there was a creaminess to the scent of it.
It's real creamy.
Yeah, it was like a thick scent to it. And then the lasting thought was fresh lemon meringue pie. I don't know how it is across the world, but here in the States, lemon meringue pie, it just has that zesty. It's like a lemon peel. It's very good. Anyways,
so think about Christmas time and when you're baking sugar cookies with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can just imagine the dough of sugar cookies. Smell it real quick. I guarantee you'll get it. The dough from sugar cookies.
Yeah.
And then a little bit
before you cook it.
Before you cook
Yeah.
it. Or almost you put it in, you didn't do it for long enough. And sprinkle a little salt on it that you get from the Islay sea.
Saltiness.
Sea salt coastal air, because it's right on the.
I put
Islay coast.
I put salty. Oh well, we'll get into that. That makes sense now. All right.
So I also get toffee and vanilla. I think this is bourbon matured, just judging by the color. I know that Bruichladdich does a lot of bourbon matured whiskeys. What else do I get? Coriander. A lot of times people in reviews will say they get butterscotch, and I call BS. Yes, toffee is present a lot, and I know they're kind of similar, but I don't get that sweet butterscotch really in most things that people say, oh, I smell butterscotch. This, if you like butterscotch and you hear those notes, you're like, oh, that'd be great. This is the most butterscotch whiskey that I've ever had, and that's what really makes it fantastic. I think the closest second would be Glenfarclas 17 for me, which I'm going to be reviewing soon. I get a little floral. Again, I'm not real good. I think it's kind of more like lilies and buttercup. And last but not least, like you were saying, just smells creamy. I can just tell the palate is going to be really creamy. And obviously, this is not chill filtered, so there's a very good chance it's going to be creamy. So, what about the palate?
Right off, it's a very fresh drink. There's quick movement to it. I feel like we reviewed a much simpler drink last time, and this you can definitely tell it's got steps to the flavor of it. Right after the fresh feeling, grilling lemons or any sort of citrusy fruit, pineapple.
There's tons of lemon in there.
Grilling it, especially like the flavor of that, and then coupled with, it just reminds me of the lemons on like when you're grilling a fish and you're squirting the lemon on it. That's the feeling, and then of course in the background is honey, vanilla, and I really felt like on this with the high ABV, not adding a splash helped, as far as I'm sure it was created alongside of the flavors to complement it, and I thought it did it was a high ABV, but it was not noticeable.
Yeah. So like you kind of said, it's really clean. You can kind of tell the youth. You can definitely tell it's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But like it hasn't the rough edges haven't been really rounded with the maturing and the aging. That kind of comes from a long time cask maturation. But it's still really good. I get that underbaked sugar, crispy sugar cookies. I get a salty butterscotch pudding again on the palate. Drinking another shot.
And see, ever since you said salty in the nose, I want to like take my notes back, because I didn't realize it until the finish. I'll let you keep going.
Let's see. Lemon pound cake. Kind of like at Starbucks, they always have these lemon pound cake. It's got like the white frosting, and then the rest of it's yellow. This lemon pound cake. So it kind of goes like that lemon zest.
That's exactly what it is.
And last but not least, you get a really beautiful barley sugar. If you want to know what barley sugar, if you hear that note, this is barley sugar. It's delicious. And then there's this little hint of metallic at the end. I think that's a little bit with the youth, being a little bit younger. But it's not unpleasant. Actually, I don't mind it. So.
See, when you say metallic, I think like mineral, like similar. Okay.
So, I'm trying to think if I can. I think that's pretty much it. All right, on the finish.
Relatively short for me, but that wasn't a negative thing. I felt like right off the bat, the last flavor I got was the salty, and that makes sense from what you were describing as far as where it's located, as far as the saltiness left on the tongue, and then the saltiness kind of makes way, and it's just a creaminess that's left. It's a thick vanilla citrusy cream that is left on your tongue, and I feel like the going back to the high ABV, or at least high for me, it does a very good job as far as finishing it goes. It kind of stays exactly as long as the change in the taste.
Yeah. So I get kind of short to medium, and I get that salty barley sugar with the little hints of metallic that just kind of slowly fades. This is a really good non-age statement whiskey. Bruichladdich is producing some great stuff. It just sucks that they have to put out some of these, and they're still good. But they're not as great as they could be. But they are coming. When they can finally put out a bunch of age statements, Bruichladdich going to take over the world, man. It's going to be amazing. Any other thoughts about this before we give our malted man cave marks?
No. Once again, I thought it was a good. We're celebrating a win here, and
prolonging our misery.
Yeah, but I felt like it was a good accompanying drink to a win. It's a good celebratory drink.
All right, what's your mark?
It's not as high as last week. The Elijah Craig, I gave it a pretty high mark for the price point, This, I would say, is an 87, a strong 87. I enjoyed it, but there was some other things kind of lacking in it.
Yep. For me, this is an 88, and I think that's because I really like the butterscotch notes. I know that many other people that kind of have similar palates to me, or that maybe are on the same journey, like if you've been in it for a couple years or however many single malts you're into, they may give this a little bit lower, but I just really like the butterscotch notes, and I really appreciate what Bruichladdich doing, and I understand that they're not going to be able to produce their best product for a while.
Exactly.
So for price point, taking everything into consideration, 88 out of 100. It's definitely good. Go out and buy this. Let's support Bruichladdich. They're doing really good stuff. Anything else? Go Cavs. Sláinte.